weird, wild, and wacky. True stories from Azores, Angola, Denmark, and Japan. Welcome to the rabbit hole of human absurdity. Today, we are digging into the most bizarre, hilarious, and head-scratching historical events from 4 wildly different places: the volcanic mystery of the Azores, the revolutionary chaos of Angola, Denmark's royal lunacy, and the beautiful madness that is Japan. You think history is boring? Think again. Exploding cows, samurai bear hunters, pirate nuns, drumming rebels. We're not making this up, but history did. Azores, Portugal. First stop, the Azores. Portugal's wild, mist-covered islands floating in the middle of the Atlantic like someone accidentally dropped 9 chunks of Middle Earth. The island that wasn't there, the Phantom of So Gorge. In the 16th and 17th centuries, sailors reported seeing a mysterious island west of So Jorge. It appeared in the distance, majestic, filled with golden cities, then vanished. Cartographers even drew it on maps as the Ilha Encantada, or Island of the 7 Cities. Turns out it was probably a Fata Morgana mirage, but locals still whisper tales of sailors who vanished chasing it, the cow that exploded. In 1998, on Terceira Island, poor ventilation in a barn led to methane gas buildup. One unlucky spark later, boom, one cow instantly became beef confetti. Firefighters were called, reporters showed up. Farmers, understandably, were not amused. The barn was totaled. The cow, sadly, didn't make it. Furnace, the town that cooks with volcanoes. In the town of Furnace, people actually cook their food using volcanic heat. They bury pots of stew called cozido das furnace in the steaming earth and let it simmer for 6 hours. Tourists love it. Locals half love it, half say it tastes like lava and boiled egg farts. Culinary lava, anyone? UFOs over the Atlantic. In the 1980s, multiple pilots reported glowing orbs flying around the Azores. One commercial flight even changed course. The military investigated, then quietly stopped talking. Official explanation: atmospheric anomalies? Sure. Portugal? Sure. Angola, where colonial history gets dark, resistance gets bold, and everything gets weird. Queen Nzinga's power flex? We're doubling down on Nzinga because she's iconic. After the famous throne moment, she went full warlord queen, forming alliances with the Dutch, leading guerrilla raids, and even converting to Christianity, then later renouncing it. Her PR team? Probably exhausted. She ruled for 40 years and died at age 81. Legend. The Kingdom of Ndonga's trick diplomacy. During the 17th century, Angolan leaders often played Europeans against each other. One king offered to sell his own people into slavery, then ambushed the slavers, freed the captives, and blamed it on rebels. The Portuguese kept coming back. They never learned. Drums of terror. In the 1960s, rebels from the Mpla used drums to communicate across miles. But they also turned it into a terror tactic, creating eerie rhythms at night that freaked out Portuguese soldiers. One diary entry called it like being haunted by ghosts of war. Sound warfare before Spotify. The goat bomb plan, yep, more goats. Mid-90s, reports from UNITA rebels described a plan to use herds of goats strapped with branches to clear minefields. Sadly, many of the goats didn't survive, but a few mines were triggered. It's considered one of the most bizarre forms of military improvisation in history. No word on if PETA ever got wind of it. The time Angola sent a basketball team to a war zone. In 2000, during the Civil War, Angola still sent its national basketball team to the Sydney Olympics. They trained under threat of bombings, had no funding, and shared shoes. They didn't win but got a standing ovation. Real life Cool Runnings, but with basketballs and bullets. Denmark. Onward to Denmark, where the Vikings weren't the weirdest thing to come out of the country. Let's talk about mad kings, drunk scientists, and Viking-themed musical theater. King Christian VII, the Oghot mess monarch. Yes, he really did slap people for fun, ran through palace halls naked, and had a full-time assistant. For pleasure, his court physicians tried everything from leeches to hypnosis. One doctor even became the de facto ruler by convincing Christian to sign laws mid-breakdown. Game of Thrones meets Jackass. Tycho Brahe and his pet elk. Famous astronomer Tycho Brahe not only had a golden prosthetic nose, he lost his real one in a duel over math, but also kept a pet elk. The elk reportedly got drunk at a dinner party, fell down the stairs, and died. A literal party animal, also. Tycho had a dwarf jester who lived under the table and communicated with spirits. Brahe's house was basically a Renaissance frat. The king who waged war on his own country. Christian IV in the 1600s got so paranoid about rebellion that he waged war on his own nobles, seized their land, and declared Denmark a moral kingdom. He also built entire fake cities to test architecture when people didn't move in. He fined them. That's one way to boost real estate. Operation Safari, Danish resistance strikes back. In 1943, the Danish Navy blew up their own fleet before the Nazis could take it. The operation was so successful that the Germans thought it was a storm at sea. Surprise! Denmark had secretly organized underground sabotage squads led in some cases by teenage boys and school teachers. Badass, the Great Danish Flag Theft. In 2001, activists stole the giant national flag from Copenhagen City Hall using ropes, a grappling hook, and a Segway. They left a note that read, "We're borrowing your pride for a while." It took weeks to recover it. Denmark's response? Well, at least it was polite. Japan. And now, Japan, the land where history is 1 part philosophy, 1 part samurai, and 20 parts absolutely unhinged brilliance. Bear attack of Sankabetsu, 1915. A brown bear named Kesagake attacked a village over several days. It ate people, smashed homes, and avoided every trap. Finally, a veteran samurai tracker, armed with a rifle and a very sharp spear, took it down. To this day, the bear's skull is on display at a museum, and locals still hold bear hunting festivals in honor of the victims. Wild. The last samurai was real and died in 1877. The Satsuma Rebellion was the real-life version of the Last Samurai. Led by Takamori, a disgruntled ex-samurai, they fought the imperial army using swords against rifles and cannons. Spoiler, it didn't end well, but is now a folk hero. His statue in Tokyo shows him walking a dog. The pirate nun who took on the shogunate. In the 1860s, a Buddhist nun named Chio joined rebel forces, disguised herself as a man, and took to the seas to raid corrupt shogunate outposts. She prayed before battles, wielded a katana, and earned the nickname the Sea Ghost. Her legend lives on in manga and kabuki plays. Japan's secret wee balloon bombs. Japan launched over 9,000 balloon bombs toward the U.S. during Wee. Carried by the jet stream, they aimed to start wildfires. Some made it, one even killed 6 people in Oregon. The U.S. government kept it secret to avoid panic. Japan called it fugo, which sounds like a forgotten, but was deadly serious. The emperor's first words. When Emperor Hirohito surrendered in 1945, his speech was broadcast by radio, shocking the nation. It was the first time anyone had ever heard the divine emperor's voice. And he didn't even say surrender, he used poetic metaphors. People cried, rioted, or just stood there saying, "Wait, what did he just say?" From volcanic stews to Viking elk parties to samurai ghost nuns. History is proof that humans have always been extra. These stories weren't in your textbooks, but they probably should have been. Which of these stories was your favorite? Do you know a bizarre historical moment from your country? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more wild history like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell like your Queen Nzinga slapping a thrown into existence. Stay curious, stay weird. See you next time.
Hit that subscribe button for more weird, wild, and wacky history, because who knows what crazy things happened on your birthday.